Wait. Just back the seat. Okay, go.
Good evening, everyone. This is the municipal combined meeting of Wednesday, October 26, 2022, 6 p.m. Can we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Brusher. Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer.
Present.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Here.
Councilmember Brusher did reach out to me. He couldn't make tonight's meeting.
Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by an annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger Sentinel, and Dizzy Talk on November 25th, 2021, and posted in Main Lobby Municipal Complex on that same date.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Council members, review of the minutes from the council meeting October 12, 2022. Any comments? Okay, moving forward to reports from all council committees. From my left, Councilmember Pointer.
None at this time. Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Patil.
Council President, today we met DPW department team, the director. Again, thank you for providing the updates. And the Council President, you can give the further discussions that happened. And again, thank you for doing the wonderful job for this town. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Patil. Councilmember Patel.
None at this time, sir.
Councilmember Margot Harris.
None, sir.
Council Vice President George Ship Freeman.
Yes, we had our master plan for the city of Edison. We had a meeting, first we had a meeting during the course of the month to discuss and how to disseminate information to our whole town. And we thought you would be better served if you had the ability to participate and have some say in the things that we're going to have in town, the zoning, the planning, what type of bike paths, sidewalks, what things you would like for this town of Edison. We had an in-person meeting, and we engaged in different groups, and each one explained what they actually wanted to be part of the master plan. And we like to have like a bigger group of people, but we realize people work and it's hard to get around when they come home. So for our future meetings, we're going to have some Zoom meetings in which everyone can participate. And I would, beg people to please participate, because after the cake is baked, you can't add ingredients later on. So I just want everybody to be, involved and concerned about Edison and the direction we're going in, because the ideas of zoning and things that you would like to bring up at times, it would be a good thing for you to participate, send emails, do surveys, be part of the master plan. Thank you. And number two, we are having a veterans meeting next Wednesday at the Legion Hall, and that'll be at 5:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. I just wanted to first recognize everyone here today and thank you for joining us here at the council meeting. I see some first-time residents here or business people. I just want to mention that we do have time you can speak to during the public session at the end of this agenda, but you also can make comments on the resolutions only. Just so you're aware, the resolutions pertain only to the resolutions you want to make comments on. But during the open public session, you can make a comment on any particular subject you would like. Also, for any new ordinances you see on this list here that are introduced, there's no public comments at that time of introduction of that particular ordinance. It's only an introduction. However, you can comment at the public session at the end for comments. Just want to make you aware for those who are waiting. Okay, our DPW committee members met, Councilmember Pointer and Councilmember Patil and I, we met with a group of supervisors and the director, Ray Porio. I'm pleased to say we are certainly prepared for snow this year, And that was the priority of the meeting. And we are having this in November, but this process is thought out long before. I mean, these conversations take place in April. Some conversations are taking place a year ago to prepare for trucks and different manpower and truck power. We are looking good when it comes to having supplies as far as salt, enough trucks, enough, enough men available to plow, and enough large vehicles to maintain the main roads. We also had discussions on brine versus our salting. We also had discussions on how many blades we have and how large the blades are opposed to prior years before that. We've also had discussions with the different routes and the communication with each route throughout the town. We furthered that discussion with having no communication with, if there was a time there was no communication with any person working on a route, they know exactly what to do according to their schedule. And we also have that on GPS to know where they are. So everybody's moving at all times and all hands are on deck. In fact, every single person in DPW is out to work for this township. As you know, in the past, the mayor has been pretty active on Facebook, letting you know we're out there, and he's out there himself and other council members here. So I just want to state that this meeting was a good meeting, and it's important we have these so everybody understands that we're doing our best. As much as everybody would love us to move cars and make sure we can get down your block, I definitely come across that subject very, very challenging to be able to do in the township with over 250 miles of roads and 750 lane miles. Not an easy task to pull off. And please understand that we first look at taking care of your main roads and making sure they're cleared. And then after that, first sweep, they make their choices across the priority. So everything counts and every issue counts when residents call the mayor's office or call our council members. But take in consideration, we certainly ask these tough questions, but the priority comes down to our main roads first and the staff we have available at that time. If there's any further questions, you certainly can reach out to myself. Some people have my cell phone, you can email, but we are happy, and I want to thank all DPW involved in this. And I'm pleased to tell the mayor and our council members who are not on the committee, we are certainly ready for the snow. Thank you. Is my points of light? Points of light. Council members, any points of light they'd like to discuss before I list Councilmember Harris?
Yes. First, I want to extend deep, deep condolences to the family, friends, and students past and present of Anthony White. This is a huge and irreplaceable loss for all people who knew him. And if you could see the lines that went around the Costello Runyon Funeral Home for the viewing, I don't know about for the funeral, I'm assuming it probably was that way too. It is just testament to how highly regarded Tony White was. So deepest condolences to the White family, friends, and students. I also want to wish Councilman Brescher a speedy recovery from pneumonia. It's been a tough bout for him. A couple of things with regard to cultural arts and the Edison Art Society. First of all, from Gloria Dittman from the Edison Art Society, just wanted to inform you that the banners from the Hometown Heroes have been placed up on Plainfield Avenue in Edison, and it's just in time for Veterans Day, so this is a good thing. And on the subject of arts, we are still accepting applications for the Cultural Arts Committee. And there are a lot of big things that we have in mind for the Cultural Arts Committee. Again, it's including the Performing and Cultural Arts Center, possibly museum. And so urging anyone who's interested to make an application and submit it to, that would be to you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, to Cheryl Rustamano. And lastly, just to piggyback a little bit on what the Council Vice President said about the planning meeting, the master plan meeting. It really was a fantastic meeting, well-run, well-organized. We broke up into smaller groups to have discussions about things that we would like to see. And it was a wonderful presentation, and I would encourage everybody to take part in the neighborhood meetings that are coming up over the next couple of months or so. It really was worthwhile. Thank you, Council President.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Harris. Any other council members on the point of light? Hearing none. Councilmember Patel, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Council President. Thank you, Councilwoman Harris, of bringing the topic of Tony White, who was a well-known teacher in the town. I was at the wake, and we saw the line. People were there almost for 3 hours. It's a very sad thing for this town, and I would ask my council colleagues to have a moment of silence.
Thank you, Councilmember Patel. On that same note, Anthony White was certainly involved in many areas of the town, and so has his family, but the involvement in school, from the Model UN to serving as a teacher, to also the volleyball and different sports he participated in, well-loved, and it was a nice farewell, and we're very sorry for this loss. Moving forward to other items on the points of light. This weekend, we have the Rocktoberfest held by the Edison Chamber of Commerce on Saturday, 926 Amboy Avenue from 2 to 7 p.m. And on October 28th, we have a Halloween dance for individuals with disabilities from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Minnieville Center. On October 29th at Lake Papiani, we have a trunk or treat. On October 29th, we have the East Cycle event from 8 to 12 p.m. in a municipal parking lot. Also, we have another trunk or treat on 926 Amboy Avenue on October 30th from 12 to 4. Early voting begins Saturday, October 29th to November 6th at the Minnieville Community Center, Monday to Saturday from 10 to 8 p.m. and Sunday from 10 to 6 p.m. Just to further, any other council comments on points of light?
Council President?
Yes.
Throughout this week, all the Indian Americans are celebrating Diwali, which is the festival of light. And today is the new year for some sections of Indian American community. So on behalf of this council, the township, we wish a very, very happy new year. Thank you.
And on that note, Council President, as most council members had a chance to witness, the residents of Edison, Mayor Sam Joshi and the administration and council held their first Diwali celebration. And I was astounded on how big this was and how big this will become. I think the administration did a great job with marketing. I'm careful with how we will market even more, but it was spectacular. I don't think there's a member on this council that wasn't shocked on how big this became and how the weather just turned out perfect. I want to thank our administration of DPW and also our traffic division that did a wonderful job making sure everything rolled out great. And wonderful fireworks that worked out as well. So this is going to be a world, celebration, and Edison is going to be known to have it. And I think we got some national news, if anybody wants to comment on that. And it was just extremely wonderful. And the first time. So, we got to give our credit and a round of applause for that in Edison being held. So thank you for all the support through the council and the administration, and we thank our Mayor, Sam Joshi. Any other comments again for points of
Council
light?
President?
Yes.
About Diwali, and I enjoyed myself at the Papiani, but also at the BAPS building. And what I love the sincerity about Diwali is good triumphs over evil, like all the goodness that comes in and how you need to meet people with peace and with sweet so you receive the same thing back. I just think that's the thing that we should all live by. We should live by that and reach out to people, because life is very short, as we can hear from our devoted teacher that passed away at such a young age. So I just would like us more to greet each other properly, and then we'll receive stuff back. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Moving forward, from each department here, any questions or comments from council members from the Business Administrator A and B? Hearing none, to number 8 from the Department of Finance, A, B, and C. Any questions or comments from council members? Hearing
Council
none.
President?
Yes,
Just a
Councilmember.
quick question through Council President to administration. Every month, we do, it's a redemption of tax sale certificate or successful tax court appeal. Knowing we are pretty much tail end of the year, and I know that we do set aside some funds at the beginning of the year. How far we are in the?
I can get that report to you tomorrow,
Thank
just to
you.
let you know exactly where we are with tax appeals and if we've reached the threshold.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember Patil. Any other questions or comments on number 8, A, B, and C from council members? Hearing none, moving to the Department of Law, A and B. Madam Clerk, that's the other goes under you, okay. Any questions or comments on 9, A, and B from the Department of Law? Hearing none, moving to 10 from the Department of Planning and Engineering, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Any questions or comments?
Question on
We have
D.
Here he is, no.
On the repairs. I was asked to ask you if there is a Mr. Fix-It program. Is this part of the Mr. Fix-It program, or do we have a different one? Because someone told me they went to the website and they can't seem to find Mr. Fix-It or any way to engage him.
I believe we just ordered he did start, by the way, about 2 weeks ago. We are trying to outfit the vehicle, and we're ordering all of the tools that he's going to need. I'm not sure that he's actually visited or made a first visit. I have DPW here, maybe, do you know if he visited anybody? I don't think he did. I think we're just trying to get him started with just the, actually getting all of the procurement of, between light bulbs and everything else. We're trying to set him up. So at this point, he has started, which is great, and we want to get him set up before we actually do all of the promotions of the program. But it's well underway, and you should hear from us, from the administration in the next couple weeks or so.
Thank you. I got the answer from my constituents. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilmember Patil, you
I
have the floor.
have question on E and G, but let me start with G. Again, thank you for putting this resolution on the council dais here for the Summer Street drainage system. But this is a professional service contract. Is that just for the study, Sonia, or what is the scope of the work involved here for G? Summer Street drainage, what is the scope of work?
You can come up.
Just a design?
We're just doing the design.
Okay, and do we know the timelines? How soon the design will be done? Because again, this is something more than a year residents are coming to this council meeting. I appreciate at least we are moving forward with the program, but if we can get some rough timeline, that would help to communicate back to the residents.
We'll get that to you tomorrow.
Thank you. And on E, after a long time, I do see this 100,000. I have seen many of these last year and year before. Is this Serve Properties and Management Edison-based company?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
Is this company, Serve Properties and Management, is this an Edison-based company? Because what I have, the complaint that I received from the residents is in good neighborhood, the properties are bought, and some third party is coming up, taking the grant from the township, close to $100,000 is a big amount. redoing the house and giving it to the, affordable housing development. It's group homes. And it's coming in a good neighborhoods, that, residents do have the concern. So just my question is this Serve Properties and Management is a local company who is involved?
I have to check on that for you. However, this has to go through a bidding process. So, in order for it to get vetted.
Okay.
But I will check to you you want to know specifically if Serve Properties is a Edison-based company.
Yep. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember Patil. Any other questions or comments from the Department of Planning and Engineering, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G? Hearing none. First, I want to we have some resolutions we are adding, but before we do that for Public Work, I just want to have any questions or comments for A, B, and C that are on the agenda. Hearing none. We are adding 5 resolutions to the agenda, and for anyone listening who may question this, I pulled this on the agenda last week, and I had a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I had to also discuss with other members of the committee of DPW. Some of the resolutions you're going to hear are making improvements to the floor at the Truman Garage, which is close to $500,000, which would question anyone here. At the same time, everyone knows it was about 12 years ago we lost our garage through a fire. So, there were several questions of what process we're going to have in place to where we're investing money to make these future changes to hope one day we'll have a garage. So we did meet separately with DPW. I personally went down there and met with the director, and I also met with 5 or 6 supervisors, including the mechanic supervisors and maintenance. And what I discovered is that the improvements to this floor at the Truman Garage would allow a more capacity of trucks and vehicles to be involved in one garage at the same time. Today, the floor is unlevel. So if you look at trying to raise a truck in there, you're raising the truck at a level that it's already on an incline, which leaves less leverage to lift that truck up to its height that it needs to be at. And it's not in a safe manner it's being done. At the same time, you can't pull 2 trucks in head-to-head in this garage. So a garage that can hold 8 trucks today will hold 12 to 16 trucks in the future. Other questions we had, Councilmember Pointer and I, and Mr. Patil, was whether this work would give us time to also build a new garage someday in the future. And at this time today, there are a few places we repair vehicles. And essentially, all the vehicles are going to be held under one roof now in the future, and we're hoping that'll be the Truman Garage. At the same time, when we make this move and this floor is done, it will take about 5 weeks, which is why I'm putting it on the agenda today, because of the time frame of bidding, but also the time frame of weather and curing of this process in the concrete. But it's important we reach this opportunity. I hope I get support from the council members. As you hear these resolutions have questions, we can have further discussion at this time. But the overall purpose is to bring everything into one garage, alleviating opportunity and space at the Durham Garage, bringing all the material and supplies under one garage. Today, we're quarterbacking 3 areas where there's supplies for vehicles and truck repairs, where we'll have one house, one place for supplies. And I think this is going to be an incredible opportunity to streamline things in that department. So I'm pleased to put this back on the agenda, and I want to apologize for pulling it earlier, but this is necessary, and I hope we get council support. Madam Clerk, do you want to read the resolutions?
Okay, first one, resolution awarding a contract purchase order to the Gillespie Group for the new level flooring for DPW Truman Garage. And the cost is $549,239.63. Next one is the purchase of, I'm sorry, that number will be 699
Which one?
or 699. That's the Truman Garage.
This one, she just said this one. This one.
The next one is a resolution authorizing the purchase of a new wheel alignment machine, which is a lift for the sanitation garage. The amount of that purchases $30,746.20, and that number will be R700-10, 2022. Next one, resolution authorizing the purchase of a new scissor lift for the department for the sanitation garage. That amount of money is $35,010.01, and that's going to be resolution number 701. Next one is resolution authorizing the purchase of 2 new and unused vehicle post lifts for the sanitation garage, and that amount of money is going to be $100,788.72. Resolution number R702. Last is resolution accepting a quote and awarding contract for welding of the trench drain risers for the sanitation garage from Pete's Welding, and the amount of money is $21,624.75. And that's the last one. It's resolution R703.
Councilmember Porter, do you have any comments?
Not necessarily, though I will say after the review, I think that these improvements are necessary for us to get to the proper level of efficiency within the department, and I think they are the right improvements to make going forward. Thank you, sir.
And last, before there's any other council comments, the big question is, when are we going to improve Dorm Avenue and make that a new garage? And we had that discussion, and there are big conversation with the mayor and administration and DPW to make that area a new area for a garage, and different pole barns that would house and keep our vehicles out of the elements, which is truly important during the off-season. So I want to thank the members of the council for listening to this resolution, and I'm open for any comments.
Council President?
Yes, Councilmember. Yeah.
With regard to 699 about the level flooring, I have no doubt that this is needed. The price tag just seems staggering. I know nothing about this, and I just wanted to know, was this put out to bid at all?
Sonia?
We have our DPW director here, but just on that note, we did get consultation from our engineers, so this number actually came a little well below what we anticipated in building a whole new place, but I'll let Ray cover that for you.
Hello, Councilwoman.
Hello.
This purchase is made through the co-op, so it's already pre-bid for these services.
Okay, thank you.
Council Vice President?
I'm good with this and everything, but I just don't like getting 5 of these papers at one time for me to read all this at one time. I would have loved to had more time to read and go through this information. I know that you need it, is why I'm okay with it, but I like to have more time to read this stuff, because I know for years we had the problem with the garage, and we've been renting somebody else's garage, I believe. Is that true? So I always see that as wasting money, renting, somebody else's. But at other times, please, I would like, I don't mind you bring me 1 or 2, but bringing me 5 at one time plus the other 3, that's a lot for me to digest. And I want to be good for the public. I don't want them to think I'm just going with stuff to go along with stuff. I want them to know that all of us are doing our job completely. And thank you very much, Councilman Pointer, for looking through this stuff and finding out the information. But as you know, I'm a reader, okay? I'd like to see a little more. Thank you.
Any other council members for comments?
Council President.
Yes, Councilmember Patil.
Again, thank you. All these most of these resolutions were, I believe, were on the last council agenda, but because of the we needed that one meeting with the DPW director, get some questions answered. And again, thank you for today for providing all those answers. It's a great investment. It's a long overdue. And again, thank you, Mayor, for acknowledging the need for this improvement. And thank you, DPW Director Ray, for your leadership. And hopefully we'll continue to make these improvements. It's a good asset to this township. Thank you, Council President.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Patil. And again, my last comments, and I respect Council Vice President's comments as well. This was first on the agenda, and we sent it to the members, and we pulled it immediately. And of course, I always have questions when we're spending money, and everyone in this council does. But what I did learn with our committee and the DPW is that a lot of work has not been done through the years. And this is a long time waiting. And we look at trying to be at the state of art of mechanics and repairs and service. And, DPW for Edison covering 35 square miles, again, 250 miles of street, 750 lane miles requires the right truck manpower and staff. But most of all, we need to get these trucks in and out and back on the road. And I have to say, going there that day and walking through there, we do a lot of our own repairs right there on the spot. And, when we look at the future of this DPW building on Durham Road being reconstruction, it will be a state-of-the-art showpiece. I'm convinced that the mayor and administration, this council will make sure of that we are prepared. And what I was also impressed by is, when the normal private plowers out there go out and they have a repair and they blow a hose in the middle of their routes, we have hose repair right on the spot at DPW. We're not sending it out. We're not stopping, our process. Someone there is on site to repair those normal things that happen during a snowstorm, which, by elements and cold just happen. So, we're getting there. And I think there was a comment raised, because other towns have things we should be following. But in this case, we're going to have the things no other towns have, and we're going to take the lead. And I'm not trying to steal those quotes. They were said to me through the mayor's office. And I think the mayor's in the right place of trying to be the leader and having the state-of-the-art, garage and having people come to us to see what we've done. So I want to thank the administration, thank the council for supporting this. Again, I want to just waive to any other council comments for the additional resolutions that are added to the Department of Public Works.
Council President?
Yes,
Can I just ask one clarifying question to the director?
sure.
And I apologize, I should have asked this during the previous conversations. In the bid, there are 4 line items for self-leveling at a ½ inch. Now, I'm presuming it's because of the initial grade that's there that we have to do level upon level. I just wanted to confirm that my thought process with that is
Because of the
accurate.
depth in one of the areas, we have to do it in lifts.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that because it's a big part of the bid.
Correct.
Thank you, Council President.
I can't help but add one more thing. We've had a lot of improvements to our garages. If you haven't had a chance to take a look, council members, for those who have or have not, we've made some significant improvements in all of our garages, our floors, our areas. We have training rooms now. It's moving towards the right direction. So when we talk about floors, there are many new floors we put in there that are safety floors as well. So it's working out. And again, thank you, council members. Moving forward to the Department of Recreation, we have A and B. Any questions or comments from council members? Hearing none. 13 from the Water and Sewer Department, A, B, and C. Any questions or comments from council members? Hearing none. Moving to the Chief of Fire, we have A and B. Any questions or comments from the Chief of Fire? Hearing none. Moving forward from the Chief of Police. Letter A, any questions or comments from council members?
Council President?
Yes.
I'm kind of in the dark about these restroom renovations. Where are they taking place?
Sonia?
The closeout of the contract we're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah, those were for the police side of the
Okay,
building.
okay. Great, thank you.
Any questions or comments from council members? Hearing none, moving to the township clerk. Before we introduce an added resolution, we first want to just make comments on A, B, and C. Any questions or comments on A, B, and C?
Council President?
What is this, D on here too? And that's removed, okay. Yes, council member. Yes, Councilmember Pointer.
Thank you, Council President. A quick comment in regards to item C, the Smart City Advisory Committee. Thank you, Council President, for putting this on the agenda. I do look forward to working with all of the appointed members in terms of seeing how technology can be best implemented to the township. I also want to say thank you to the Council Vice President who had called me asking if there were any women applicants. Unfortunately, there were none for this specific subcommittee. However, I wanted to express my gratitude that you are always looking out for the women in the township. With that, I do hope that everyone was able to review the resumes that were submitted. Extremely impressive. I feel that they are all very qualified and will be an extreme asset to the township. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember Pointer. Any other questions or comments from the clerk, A, B, and C? Just to comment on C, I want to congratulate Councilmember Pointer for taking the time to review applicants and interview this process, and I'm happy, always happy to hear the Council Vice President talk about women, because some great things have happened on this council with our new member, Councilwoman Harris, and the Council Vice President. When it comes to leading the departments, women are put first, and more than they ever have. And I hope there'll be more room for other opportunities, Mr. Pointer. Okay, good stuff. We are removing also D. Madam Clerk, we're removing D from the agenda?
Yes, we're moving Resolution 697.
Okay, and the much needed added to the agenda is, do you want it, Madam Clerk?
We are adding Resolution 698, which is the resolution memorializing the findings of the Edison Township Council on the appeal of the Edison Township Zoning Board of Adjustment grant of the use variance to Markham developers.
Any questions or comments on adding the R698 to the agenda for the appeal vote that we had last week?
Council President?
Yes.
To our attorney, if I may. I'm presuming that the language here satisfies my request or my concern, but it says, and includes the comments, findings of fact, and determinations of law made by the Township Council. So any of our comments that were brought up are now part of the record. So if there were an appeal, anything that was mentioned up here would now be viewable by the any superior court.
That is 100% correct.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
President?
Yes, Councilman Harris.
Just regarding this resolution, I just want to express my delight and pleasant surprise that this council came together and unanimously had overturned the zoning board's ruling. And I want to thank Nick Fagan, my neighbor and friend, for really wanting to make sure that this resolution did memorialize that vote. So really a job well done by everybody. Thank you. And Joel Bassoff, hats off to you too. Thank you.
Thank you, council members. Any other questions or comments on the additional resolutions R698?
Council President?
Yes, Councilmember Patil.
This is a very rare situation, and this shows the residents how active they are. They are willing to put their efforts if one of the body is not willing to listen to their voices. And again, thank you for coming forward and pitching your case well prepared to make sure this council was satisfied. And again, it was 7-0. It's what else we can expect, right? So I would say this is all, commendable job by the residents and especially, people sitting in the audience today. Again, congratulations for your victory. And if you need any help, this council will stand by. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Patil. Moving forward from the from the council member of the planning board, Councilmember Pointer, any comments?
Thank you, Council President. On Monday, October 17th, the Planning Board held its October monthly meeting with the following acted on. Resolutions P5246, Fox and Fox Development at 71 Jersey Avenue. This was an approval for a minor subdivision. The resolution was memorialized. P5247, Center Hector LLC at 3 Center Street. Denial of minor subdivision. This resolution too was memorialized. New business, P5239, Jane Wang, 45 Taft Avenue. Applicant sought a minor subdivision to divide an existing lot into two single-family homes. Variances were sought for lot width and lot area. 50 where 75 is required and 5,000 where 7,500 is required. The board heard testimony from the applicant's professionals regarding the current conditions and the proposed improvements, providing clarity to drainage design and tree replacement, among other items. After testimony and no one wishing to speak on the application from the public, a motion was made and seconded to approve the application, which the board voted in favor of. P14-2022, Rivendell Lights, Truman Drive. This was carried over to the next meeting, no renotice required. P10-2022, Prologis Nixon Park LLC, 100 to 400 Nixon Lane. Applicant proposed to construct a new parking area in the southeast section of the property for 260 trailer spaces. This included the extension of the current driveway, with the purpose being to enhance on-site circulation. No bulk variances were sought. The board heard from an operations manager for the facility, engineer, and traffic specialist, responding to questions regarding the current operations, why the additional spaces were needed, access to the solar farm next door, tree replacement and irrigation, and traffic concerns. After testimony, with one objector speaking in regards to the traffic concern, the public portion was closed, and a motion was made and seconded to approve the application, which the board voted in favor for, with conditions as stipulated during the meeting. Finally, P20-2022, Plainfield Country Club, 1591 Woodland Avenue. Applicant proposed to install a 3-bay performance center building at the existing golf practice range. No bulk variances were requested. The board heard testimony to the building's design and proposed operations, which the facility would act as a multi-functioning practice facility for instructional purposes that would allow taking full swings onto the practice range, as well as incorporating technology for virtual training. After testimony and no one wishing to speak on the application, a motion was made and seconded to approve the application, which the board voted in favor for. The next meeting is scheduled for Monday, November 21st at 7 p.m. here in Council Chambers. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Bourne. Thank you for the wonderful job you do in detail. Thank you. Any other comments to the planning board report? Hearing none, moving forward to discussion items. From my right, Councilmember Harris.
None at this time.
I wanted to give Councilmember Pointer a break. Councilmember Patel.
None, sir.
Councilmember Patil.
Thank you, Council President. A couple of things. Through Council President, question to administration on the Edison water utility transition. Are we done completely from the prior water company? The reason I'm asking this question is on and off we get the call from the resident that their water bill has jumped tenfold all of a sudden, and nothing has been changed. The water meter is not changed. There is no leakage in the house. Is there a mechanism for us? I believe we did discuss that we should have some sort of a mechanism to report these situations. We handled through emails in the past, but do we have any mechanism to handle this type of complaints going forward?
What I would just request is that you email me or our constituent relations person, and we can certainly look into exactly if there's an issue with the billing. Not sure on our end, but maybe prior to, and how they're dealing with it. And I can certainly look into how to, what the process is for dealing with prior billing.
Sounds good. And hopefully we secured all the prior records from the old water company and would be able to help the residents. Thank you for that. That's it, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember Patil. Councilmember Pointer.
Thank you, Council President. I have a couple of questions and then a couple of comments to the business administrator, if I can. We had sent an email from the Amazon subcommittee in regards to the trees that they were potentially going to purchase, but we asked to place a hold. Are they on hold right now?
I'm not aware of any hold, but I'd have to check with our engineering team and our DPW if there was any other discussions about not going forward. Is that a recommendation that the subcommittee is making?
I think we were waiting to hear back if we were seeking if we could get another sound professional out there to see any other recommendations outside of the trees may be possible, but I don't think we had an update. It doesn't have to be now. If we can just get an update on that.
Okay, I can look into two things with our administration with regard to another sound studies at what's being requested and where they are with the planting.
I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, another question. Earlier in the year, we passed a bond ordinance for some capital improvements, but some of those items in the initial list were taken off, and we were told that they were going to be put up later on in the year. Is there any update on that?
It will be forthcoming on the next agenda in November, along with any transfer. So we're doing, in the next, towards the end, up until the end of the year, you're going to see a lot of closing out of our accounts. There's going to, procedural things. So for example, transfers, again, and with the capital ordinance, the other half. So yes, that will be forthcoming in November.
Thank you. And the last question, I see engineering is not here, but at the last meeting, it was brought up again about the ash trees. And a while ago, we had said that we were going to do like a little study to see why the trees were kind of dying. So I was just seeing if there might be an update on that.
Sure. Having previously dealt with the issue in particular, the ash borer, of course, has been here for probably 10 plus years, and now we're seeing an abundance of the effects of what has caused it. I think what needs to perhaps happen is a discussion with DPW and engineering at maybe another DPW committee meeting to go over a said policy for trees in the right-of-way, not necessarily in private properties or how that may be met. But we could certainly continue the discussion offline just to go over exactly what the vision is for this council and for the township to deal with the issue of the trees. And I would say that if the process is to go and complete an inoculation, you're really just delaying the process. And then, again, it comes to policy. What are you trying to accomplish? You would like to take down the trees in the right of way and then replant. So we can have that conversation about how to address the issue.
I appreciate that. Yes, if we can have that as part of our next DPW subcommittee meeting, I'd appreciate that. To my comments, first I want to say thank you to DPW for addressing Inman Avenue. I got an ecstatic text from Ms. Conway in regards, and just wanted to pass along her thanks. Wanted to make a comment in regards to the zoning board and the decision. I just wanted to say that, especially as a member of the planning board, I can kind of empathize with their position being up here when applicants come in. I don't think that anything that was done at the meeting is done in a malicious or in bad intent, and that the actions taken are in the best intent of everyone that's up here. So I just wanted to say, I know that the zoning board members have kind of gotten like a little bit of flack, but I appreciate that they put in the work and the time and the effort to do what they do. It was previously mentioned the unfortunate passing of Anthony White, and I wanted to speak about this more from the Historic Preservation Commission viewpoint, because that's how I was introduced to him. The reality is that a lot of history in Edison is not necessarily written down, and there is a lot of history in Edison. One of the things I was really looking forward to was at the next meeting, Anthony was very adamant about having Mr. Stolschel there to have not necessarily battle of the minds, but free-form conversation. I would like to invite the public, if you have any personal anecdotes of the history of the township that you want to say just so that it's there, and maybe we can eventually do something with the Historic Preservation Commission to put like a book or something together just so that it's captured, please email me, jpoyner@edisonnj.gov. I would be happy to catalog them for you. The last item is not necessarily one of the council's purview, but it was a topic brought up at the last Board of Education. I'm not going to go into the details of the full discussion, I do just want to say that I applaud the young women, ladies, girls, however you want to say, for having the courage to go up and make the public comments that they had. One comment that really struck me was an individual that had said that she had tried to commit suicide. With that being said, 988 is the suicide hotline number. So for anyone out there, and sorry for my emotion with it, but if anyone has any thought in that regard, please, 988, please reach out. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Porter. Any other, Council Vice President George Ship Freeman.
First, I want to discuss that I had asked earlier, maybe last month or so, and I'm trying to get back to, I had asked to strengthen my Human Relations Committee by adding some more members. I haven't gotten that ordinance back yet. And people have been asking me to get about being on it and over again. And I'm having a problem, we have people lined up that want to be on the Human Relations Committee. And, I know I like our smart city, I like our other stuff, but we also need to have other things that make the town stronger and make it a better place. I also was told and by another individual that they did not like that when you asked a question, you had to wait like 30 or 35 minutes to get an answer. They said by the time they got the answer, they had forgotten the question. So that's in the public section. They were discussing that with me, and I was very, very disappointed with that. Also, finally, I'm going to say too of it, I strived hard to get our female police officers, firefighters, all that. I fought hard with all of that. But I'm disappointed that we have a lack of women put on committees this year so far. I'm very disappointed with that. And as I was at the Board of Ed meeting, and I was there and I was listening to the women, and as I explained there at the time, it starts from the top. It starts from men at the top and how you treat women from the top. Because little microaggressions turn into gigantic ones. I just want, when people are addressing and even they're talking with the young women and they're in front of them, to be able to treat women properly and allow them spaces and places to be in so that our younger children can see how far we've come. And I also like that I was at Menlo Park School and we had a female firefighter there for the young girls to see while they were trick-or-treating around. I just want to see more involvement in committees with women, you know what I mean, for us, because we got a lot of empty committees as Miss Orchid would say most of the time. She, checks over the list. And, I just want us to move along. And can I please get my Human Relations Committee on board, please? And also, someone also wants to know about the senior building again. I keep getting questions about that.
Sure, we're actually getting a lot of the inventory that we need in order to make the repairs. So we're hoping by the end of this year that it will be completed. We are working with the contractor to get the bathrooms up and running, but as well as the suppression system. So we're hoping end of the year you'll see the building back up.
So we'll have a New Year's party, a New Year's welcoming back party for all our seniors?
Sure, and we'll have a band and everything.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council President George Ship. Just discussion items, again, I want to just mention the meeting the DPW committee had, and I think it was very detailed on what to prepare for, not just for the snow, but for other opportunities for this township moving through the seasons. Just questions, I did get a call and an email on Top Golf. Just want to just pass it to the administration. Some of the neighbors were complaining about Top Golf again, so I don't know where that is at the moment, but I just want to pass that to you now, and I'll forward you the email. Amazon, again, I know we have an Amazon committee, and I'm hoping that, pushes in a further direction. And I know you're working hard on that, but it just seems like I'm getting the same emails over and over again from our most popular neighbor, and it is a shame. Thank you for the senior center update, Council Vice President. That's all I have right now. Moving forward, any other discussion items for council members they'd like to add? Hearing none, moving forward to the regular meeting, we're going to get started. The approval of the combined meeting minutes for October 12th. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Seconded.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Council President remarks. During the public session for comments, we were going to allow questions. I do apologize at different times. We've had members of the public come up and finish their questions and then sit down and answer. It's always challenging, but keep in mind, we're always just looking at for the time of the meeting to move forward and that other speakers can have a chance to speak, and members of the public who are watching get a chance to see this meeting move in a fair timeline process. But we will do our best to answer what questions you do have. If it's a long question, we will ask the administration to email you the proper answer for that. But we are going to answer questions while you're up here at the dais, at the podium.
Thank you.
Any comments on that from members of the council?
Council President,
Yes.
I would ask everyone to just ask one question and wait for, if don't ask 20 questions, then it'll be hard to answer all 20 at once. So if we can limit the questions, get the answers, and then move on to the next discussion rather than asking all the questions and then trying to gain answers to all of them, because that would lead to a bad discussion. Thank you.
And as a professional courtesy, I always ask our council members to refer from comments to the end. But if they choose to answer because it's something they have to take care of, that's their own merit to answer that question. But again, in lieu of time, we try to have all answers go through the council president and the administration.
And Council President, one more
Yes.
thing. When the residents have a questions, can you please state the number that you have a question on, so it's much easier to follow through on? Thank you.
Okay. All right, moving forward, any other comments on that discussion from council members? New business. Council, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance amending the Township Code to make Kurtzstone Drive a one-way street north to south from Woodbrook Drive to Woodbrook Drive.
Can I have a motion to introduce?
Council President,
Yes.
I'm going to try this without the paper. I move this ordinance be passed upon first reading in accordance to law set down for Wednesday, Monday.
Monday.
November 14th.
Sorry, it's combined. Monday, November 14th.
Can I have a second?
Seconded.
Any council comments? Hearing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Clerk, read ordinance.
An ordinance establishing the not-to-exceed salary of certain officers, department heads, and employees of the township. This is just addressing one, the tax assessor, which there was a typo on the last one.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Have a motion to introduce.
Motion to introduce? Or Council President?
Yes.
I move this ordinance be passed upon first reading in accordance to law set down for Monday, November 14th.
Correct. Madam Clerk, November 14th.
November
Can I have a
14th.
second?
Seconded.
Up to you. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. We're going to move to public comments. Again, as part of this session, for those who are first-timers here, we're on the resolutions only. This is only on the resolutions. It's no other additional comments. It's just the resolutions you see here you can comment on. And we'll speak clearly. State your name and address, please. Nick Fagan?
Nick Fagan, 42 Edgewood Road.
You're recognized. You have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. I stand and support, I believe it's 698, Resolution 698 for Charlie Brown's. And again, I thank the council for their attention, and I thank the attorney and for their attention in process as well as writing the resolution. I do have one question. So I thank you for your support, and I'm hoping that you're all going to vote for it again. I wouldn't think that there'd be anything different. I do have one question for the clerk on this resolution. I know the answer, but I'd like to be public to know the answer as well. The law states that it needs to be published in the newspaper after, hopefully, it does get approved. Could you let us know when it will be in the newspaper?
It'll probably be advertised in Sunday's paper.
Thank you for letting us all know.
Thank you. Any comments on the resolutions only? Mr. Diamond?
Bruce Diamond, 74 Calvert. Would 699, the Truman property, I'm just curious, that's 700,000 for the leveling the floor?
540,000.
How much?
540,000.
Okay. Do we lease that building or own that building?
We own that.
We own it. Okay. And the biggest question, is there a fire alarm there? It's a serious question. Remember what happened last time?
We do.
Okay, very good. Charlie Brown's, it's nice to see that being closed out. The only sad part to me was that you weren't able to come up with some method to work out a compromise. But I do hope you have some vision of what you want with that property and you rezone it before it goes into play from golf course to residential, and don't leave it open for a commercial property use at this point, because that will just be a mess. Is that being considered?
I'm not aware of that's in our purview to decide what can be there. Sonia, do you?
I didn't ask what could be there. I was asking if you could direct it to be zoned for what you hope to be there as part of what's happening with the master plan before somebody comes up with a request that's other than residential.
Mr. Diamond, we hear your comments and concerns. There's no plan that can be put forth this evening, but certainly something that should be considered.
Well, I tell you, we could be back here in 2 months with a lot more residents angry, and you have it within your power to rezone the property.
Can you rezone it?
Comments on the resolutions only? Yes.
Bill Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane. Just a question about 674, appointment of Lena Vallejo as Chief Financial Officer. Is that an existing position being filled, or is that newly created?
Sonia?
It's an existing position, and we do have to put it forth resolution. It's actually a tenured position. It's through the state statute, so that's why it's on tonight.
Right. And my understanding is that she's also the tax collector. She'll be able to do both duties efficiently.
The employee will be moving on to the CFO position, not as the tax collector.
I see.
We are then filling in any void that creates.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I forgot which resolution number it is, but there was something about the purchase of a wheel alignment machine. My question on that is, do we have the personnel that know how to operate that, or is that a job that was done, that was outsourced and now is being brought in-house?
We do have the manpower. Actually, it's a good question you asked there. We used to send them out, and now we'll be doing them in-house. We do have the manpower. These questions were brought up for two reasons and two different answers. And the first is, when you send out things, it's wonderful. But sending out things doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be taken care of as fast as we need it. And with the amount of trucks not being available today, And the actual, what happens is we send it out and it doesn't always come back
Right.
the way we want it.
Okay, and someone will maintain a
And then we have to
schedule?
send it back out again.
Right, and is this done on an as-needed basis, or is there a schedule for regular wheel alignment, such as you might do with your automobile?
I imagine it'd be first come, first served according to priority for the truck.
And then on 692, 16,700 for, it says a storage locker. Is that more like a locker or more like a storage shed? It just seems like it might be a lot for simply a locker.
It's actually for our new sewer and water building, and this is for the employees, the lockers that we need to install there.
Okay, so it's a whole array of lockers?
Correct.
Okay, I understand. And then finally, on 699, if I understood it correctly, the idea is to eventually consolidate all of the public works vehicles and equipment in one garage because it would be more efficient. My concern might be because we've already experienced a garage fire, if it might actually be more dangerous to have everything in one place in the event that, notwithstanding a fire alarm, a disaster should occur.
This is for repairs only for that location. It was basically keeping all the repairs and mechanic parts under one roof. I think we'll still have our areas where we source out dispatch of different departments, but when it comes to vehicle maintenance, it'll happen all under one roof.
Okay, thank you.
I know the director is surprised that I remembered every part of this conversation. So did John Pointer. Any other questions or comments on resolutions only? Hearing none, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Public portion is closed for resolutions only. Yep. Council members, anyone like to pull any resolutions from the consent agenda for a separate vote or pulled off the agenda?
Council President, just confirming 697 is not on the agenda, correct?
It's off the agenda.
It's off the agenda.
Thank you.
697 is off.
Yep, thank you.
Any of the council members, any comments on the resolutions? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, can I have a motion? Members of the council have a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Member Patil?
Second.
Can I have a second is from Councilmember Patel. Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call?
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Coyle.
Yes. Thank you, council members. Oral petition remarks, open to the public. We have a list here. The first on the list is Maria Orchard.
Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson.
You're recognized, you have the floor.
Thank you. On Saturday, October 29th, we'll have the Trick or Trunkin' from 12 to 4 at Lake Papiani. I invite everybody to come and join. It's just going to be a great event. Please bring your children, grandchildren, everybody. It'll be a touch-a-truck and a lot of great candy. On October 30th, there'll be the Trick or Treat also at the American Legion. There's a Women's Expo at the New Jersey Convention Center from October 29th and October 30th. There's a reminder to change your clocks on the evening of November 5th. Sorry. Please check your batteries, your smoke detectors, your carbon monoxide alarms, and your fire extinguishers. November 8th, don't forget to vote. November 12th and 13th, we're having an archaeological dig at St. James. Thank you to all the volunteers that came out to Silver Lake last week. Please check our website, beautifuledison.com, for upcoming volunteer opportunities. Thank you for the Diwali event. It was really nice event. But when I was leaving, I wanted to suggest, I noticed the street traffic, the the pattern, the parking pattern was changed. And it was very stressful on the police officers directing the traffic. They did a wonderful job, but I felt very bad for them because it was very dark. They had to wear those reflective vests and yelling to everybody not to make a right when they were coming out or not to come in because the parking was already taken. I think next time when we have an event, if we can have some overflow so everyone knows where the other areas are to park. And similar, like if they have some flags or some lighting sticks to direct the traffic. Just checking on the traffic study on the Old Post Road and Boulevard of Eagles. And I have a question about an ash tree investigation for Miss Conway. Do we know where that's at? Thank you.
Yes. Unfortunately, Sonia just left, but we did answer some of that question. I believe Councilmember Pointer can finish up on that. Did you want to comment?
Yeah.
I know you just commented before.
Yeah, there's going to be, I'll follow up with Ms. Conway in regards.
Okay. And the study, I'll get back to you on that study, Marie, okay? Second on the list is Bruce Diamond. Okay. Scratch him off the list. Okay, we have Manik B.
Hello, Manik Bapat from Netherwood, 52 Netherwood Circle. So I'm here to report an incident that happened on October 13th in our neighborhood. A mom of my neighbor was walking in the neighborhood and she was robbed of
October 30th?
October 13th.
13th,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. So she was robbed of her necklaces by two people. They stopped their car and then they just approached her and immediately, quickly just robbed and went off. And the neighbors called the cops and they came in, they got all the reports and everything. So it's under investigation, but then most of the neighbors are afraid of the situation now, and then the parents are afraid of walking in the neighborhood. So the consensus is, can we have more police patrolling the area so that people can feel safe again? And that's one question. And then the second question is, how do we get updates on the investigation? Because this kind of, I think, robbing has occurred in many of the neighborhoods. And I think it's a common modus operandi, which I think it's easy to find these culprits.
All good questions, and the council and the administration is sorry to hear what happened. In fact, I got this message myself, and I believe Councilmember Harris also heard about this, and other members of the council. That area is a walking area. It's actually one of the most exclusive neighborhoods I've ever been to. There's a lot of walkers over there, and I'm sure they're in shock hearing this. I will pass your message to the Deputy Chief, Dudash, who will follow up with the chief. If you'd like to leave your email with the deputy clerk, if you don't mind, and if you want to be a point person to hear where the investigation is, I'm sure you'll get some correspondence and discussions with the chief.
Thank you so much.
I'm terribly sorry.
Council President?
Yes, Council Vice President, you have the floor.
Neighborhood watch, that the police can organize that for you with the community policing, because Neighborhood Watch does a lot, and it really helps out with the neighborhood at all. But I'm sorry that happened, because I like to walk at night too.
Yeah. Yeah, that is Councilmember Patel.
Council President?
Yes, you're
And it's
recognized.
very unfortunate incident. In fact, I am on those emails, and I see the last email from our chief, Tom Bryan, that it's under investigation. I know people don't like that type of comment saying, yes, we don't know what's happening. But again, they can't put a lot of things on the email. It will be best, I think, we can organize some sort of a meet and greet or community event for people to educate. And Council Vice President did mention that we do have a community watch program. I'm pretty sure, our police department will be more than happy to visit the neighborhood and probably educate the people. I'm pretty sure on the patrolling, we'll request police chief to make sure that there is more vigilance around, especially when it is getting dark. And not only one, but I heard few, I don't want to scare people talking on this public dais here. But we are aware of some of these situations, and I'm pretty sure our police department is doing their level best to address those. Again, I can tell you confidently that we have one of the finest police department in the state of New Jersey, and I'm pretty sure they will catch those culprits. Again, thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Teal. Moving forward, any other council comments? Next was Dave Belowitz. He was here also for the one-way. He waited. He actually, I think he left. All right, moving off the list, any other members of the public who would like to speak for the oral position remarks? Any first-time speakers? Seeing none, Nick, I'm sorry, yes, sir, please come up. Sorry, Nick, we got her.
This is Kishore from 56 Netherwood Circle.
I'm sorry, one more time, please, your name and address?
Yadu Kishore, 56 Netherwood Circle, Edison.
You're recognized, you have the floor.
Yeah, I just wanted to extend what my neighbor had said. This has happened to my mom, who was just walking around. And again, probably I'm repeating the same thing, pardon me, but like this has happened on the broad daylight. I usually take her for the walk. It's around 11 o'clock in the morning. She didn't even pass by like, a few steps from my house. And it seems to be very methodical, and these guys seems to know what they're doing. They just try to put some ring on the hand, and then they try to put some chain, saying that, okay, we need our blessings and things of that sort. I did put in all those things in the police report as well. One specific question that what I have is, how do I subscribe for this neighborhood watch? And a follow-up question on that is, all of our neighbors, like, we had a meeting prior to coming here. We're just wondering, is there a way by which you guys can give us the permit, or you guys can install some security cameras in some of the important junctions? I know it's hard for you guys to install everywhere. This is my first time. I don't know what I'm asking, but I hope you got the point.
The council vice president is in charge of the public safety.
I'm sure the neighborhood watch, and with Councilman Patel, he can help organize that, so you can all meet together at like he said, like at a meet and greet and all that, and they'll tell you the different things to watch for within your neighborhood, so you can protect the neighborhood. Broad daylight, I'm nervous now, but they will be able to tell you all the things to do, because what we do sometimes as a people, that we just go inside our houses and do our own life, whereas we're supposed to talk to our neighbors, become friendly with our neighbors, then we'll know when somebody is intruding upon us, in the incorrect way. So that's what we need to work together, and I'm sure Councilman Patel and I will see about the community policing with Deputy Chief Dudash, and they often have meetings and stuff for you to get information on how to patrol your neighborhoods better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything that you do will be appreciated.
problem.
Thank you. Council President, I will add that, once we visit, we can install few signs that will say there is a neighborhood watch that exists. So we'll form that formally, but also it's an alert to if somebody is moving around, they know that there is a neighborhood watch group is formed. So it's more of a deterrent. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it's a deterrent, and it's more of a community building, right? That's help each other to protect each other. Thank you, Council President.
Sonia, just through the chief, can we arrange a meeting with the Committee for Public Safety to see if they can meet with the residents and have a chained email for that opportunity? I also know that we always pay attention to ring and nest. So as you gather your group together, I'm quite certain that the Public Safety Committee would want to make sure you start paying close attention to that. Again, we're truly sorry to hear this happening during the day or at night or anytime, and it's shocking. I'm looking forward to any other comments, Ms. Starr?
Lois Torr, 52 Reeder Road, Edison, New Jersey.
You're recognized. You have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. I have a question for, I guess it's the attorney, actually, but as you may be aware, the American Billboard tried to put up a sign in Edison, the size of the Topgolf sign, in 300 foot from a residential neighborhood. The zoning board voted it down. The American Sign Company appealed that. The judge overrode the zoning board and said they could go forward with it. The zoning board is now appealing the appeal that was granted to the developer, and it's pretty well known that the judge is a developer judge. Is there any recourse through the council if it's
No, the zone, I'm sorry to cut you off, but the zoning board has independent counsel who would handle such an appeal.
So if the appeal is lost, that's the end of it?
I'm not certain of procedurally where the case sits right now, but this,
It's in.
the council wouldn't have any.
Zoning board is appealing it right now.
Correct,
the
okay.
decision.
Gotcha.
If the decision comes down against the zoning board appeal,
I assume they're appealing in the appellate division, right? I would assume that's
Yes.
the case. Right, so the
Yes.
appellate division rules, if they're not happy with the decision, either party is not happy, they can file what's called a writ of certiorari with the Supreme Court of New Jersey.
okay?
That would be the and
And
would be
that's
the last.
it?
Yeah, that would be it. I
Okay.
doubt the U.S. Supreme Court would take up the case.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem, you got it.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Any other comments from the public? Any first-time speakers? Nick Fagan?
Nick Fagan, 42 Edgewood Road.
You recognize you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. I have a bit of a prepared statement. As many of you know, my family is relatively new to Edison, coming from out of state. My family's been here a little less than 2 years, and for that entire time, we've been fighting for the neighborhood that we now call home. In the bit of correspondence course.
Excuse me, one second, I'm sorry. Sir, did you want to leave your email with the? Okay, okay, good enough, I'm sorry. Good enough, thank you, guys. I'm sorry to interrupt you, please continue.
No problem. In the bit of the correspondence course that the neighbors took on in zoning in the recent months, I'm sure we've learned more than we bargained for when we started this effort over a year and a half ago. We learned, though, one important thing is that only experts are really seriously considered in zoning board matters. I believe this is true due to two reasons. The municipal land use law of New Jersey and another critical piece, the zoning board's clear and present bias for developers amongst the current makeup of the zoning board. Now that you've watched the zoning board's videos and the board in action, I hope that you saw the contempt for the residents and non-experts from the chair of the zoning board. I hope that you understand why residents sometimes are disappointed in their local government. The residents rely on our planning board and zoning board to uphold our master plan and land use ordinances in the town. Unfortunately, our land use and zoning planning boards have been biased towards overdevelopment in recent years. You can see this in the zoning board's annual reports. In 2013, the board approved 42 applications and denied 1. 2014, 50 were approved and 2 were denied. 2015, 70 approved, 5 denied. 2016, 86 were approved, 4 were denied. 2017, 52 were approved and not a single one was denied. 2018, 48 were approved, 4 were denied. 2019, 44 were approved, 2 were denied. 2021, 21 were approved and 2 were denied. So a total of 413 approvals and only 20 denials. This pattern of continually rubber stamping projects leads to overdevelopment in this town. If the zoning board is the council's responsibility, and it is, the patient is an addict and their drug of choice is overdevelopment. But all is not lost. I am encouraged by council's action to reject the zoning board's approval for Charlie Brown's and the recent changes to the ordinance to strengthen the technical review committee's ability to employ outside experts and get a fair and unbiased view on projects on behalf of the residents. In fact, the planning board last year hired a traffic expert in the Little case. However, this approach won't work if the boards are biased and addicted to overbuilding in our town. However, I remain an eternal optimist. And so you, the council, can rehabilitate the zoning board. There are 5 members of the zoning board with terms expiring on December 31st, 2022, this year. You have the ability to appoint members that hold the residents' quality of life in Edison above developers' interests. I encourage you to appoint new blood to the zoning board in the coming year. It's time for fresh eyes, ears, and leadership. It's critical that residents get a fair, balanced, and unbiased shot when testifying at this important board. And as the community comes together to define the new master plan, we're counting on your leadership to continue to chart a new path for Edison. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next speakers? Being none, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public
Have a
portion.
second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's close, any council comments? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Carries.